So today I'm going to be using the 5x7 set. So there's the 5x7, A2, and then there is also the 6x6, which is the older one. So if you've got this one, these will all work and coordinate with this set. Just like all of the other puppet videos, with the main plate, I always recommend you die cut it twice. A lot of the time people will be using pattern paper with this. So I've got the paper here, which is from the new paper pad. So just this one here, which is the mini me backgrounds. But the paper on its own wouldn't be enough to hold and support the mechanism. It would end up ripping. So I've cut it again with some 300 GSM white card and stuck that together. If you're just using cardstock, one sheet will probably be okay, but again, I'll probably just stick two together just to be on the safe side. So that's nice and strong now. And then you've got your pull here. So I've cut that again twice, stuck it together. It's now nice and strong and it's going to really work the mechanism. And then I've just cut the arrow there in the white. And then I've made myself a mini me. So this is how I look on most weekends, because I do a lot of DIY and renovating my cottage. For anybody who doesn't follow me, I do have an Instagram called Lovely Rose Cottage. I will link it below if you're interested. But yes, this is kind of how I look. And I thought it'd be a nice way to show off this particular set. So you've got your body parts, and then I've used it with those who fix, make and build. To build these, it's pretty self-explanatory. You can see the main overalls there, but maybe you wanted these to be short. You could easily just snip them off. You got your little tool belt there. There's stencil detail, so I just kept it in the stencil. So it's a navy card, and I just went over it with black to bring out the pocket there. And then you've got the t-shirt. I've just inked that up with some grey. And you can see how that's stuck behind. Then the hair and the face and the head, that's all from this set here. You've got a few different hairstyles. You've got the long style there. You've got short. You could add pigtails. You can have them to the front. You could have one pigtail. You've got another short hairstyle there and here. You've got a thin neck and a thicker neck. Two slightly different head shapes. It's more the chin. This is a bit more rounded, whereas this is a bit more kind of chiseled, I'd say. Then you've got your hoodie, you've got the skirt and shorts, and then you've got your legs there if you want to make trousers. You've got the sleeves for the hoodie. So lots of ways to use that one. I've got separate videos as well showing you how to make just these as they are. So I've built everything up there. You can see I've stuck the neck behind, and then I've stuck the head on top of that. If you want a taller neck, then just stick it higher up. You know, just play around with it. They're lots of fun. And then I've got my arms here. So with this puppet, every single video that I'm sharing will have a different way of using the puppet. Some will have all four of their limbs moving, so the legs and arms. Some will have the legs swinging. Some might have just the arms, which is what this one will be. You can have just one arm waving. So just across all of the videos, you should get a nice variety really, and a nice amount of inspiration. So you want to take this one and the limbs. So if you've got all four, then you'll have two arms and two legs. Then you want your 5mm brads. So the 5mm is measured from the diameter of the head of the brad there. I've had this jar for many, many years. There's a mix there of all different colours. If you are looking to get some brads, buy just plain white ones, because if you've got your alcohol markers, you can colour the head of the brad to match anything that you're using. You don't always see them, so it doesn't matter with a lot of them, but there are occasions if you're doing different kind of styles where you might see the brad, so it's nice to have them matching. I've got this one, for example, with the police officer. They're actually navy blue brads, but I just coloured the tops of them in with black alcohol marker. So I've got my brads here, and you're going to pop it through the outer hole and then into this one here. Top tip, and I share this in all of the videos, when you open up your split pin or your brad, fold it out over your piercing tool or just something just to give it a little bit of dimension so it's not completely flat against the card. You want it to swing like this. You might find otherwise if you squeeze it against the card you get a bit of a scratching kind of squeaking sound. You want it to move really freely. So again, just repeat that with the other one. Okay, so now I've got two swinging hands. Then you just add your legs if you're doing, like I said, all four. Then you're going to take your piece here, and I'm sliding it through the slot. And I'm going to take my other two brads. You'd have another four, and then you're just going to pop them through the other hole, and you're going to, that hole, you'll line it up with the corresponding hole on the card base there. So just slide it through both so it comes out the back here. And again, just open it up and just fold it over your piercing tool there, and you can do a little test. And the great thing about these, if you're not liking it, it's not moving right, you want to change something, you can just take the brads off. You're not damaging anything. It's a pretty forgiving card style. And then again, just pop it through and then just move it up until it aligns with the other hole. And again, like so. So now, again, do a test. Like so. Anyway, what you want to do is cut your foam. You want to double it up so that it is the same, or if not, a little bit taller than the height of the brad there, because otherwise your character is going to kind of dip and it's not going to look very nice. So I always just cut a couple or 3, depending on, you know, thickness of your foam. And when you attach the foam, you want to make sure that the mechanism is pushed down. Okay, so fully pushed down, and you're going to stick your foam just under each of the arm sections, that little right angle that you've got. Just add your foam in there. You want it close, but you don't want it touching, so you need it to be hidden behind the body, but you don't want it to mess up the mechanism moving. Okay, and then take the backing off and then add the others. You might find you want to add some behind the head, but each one is different. There's slightly different heights. Obviously she's going to come down here, so if I put foam behind her head it would stick onto this, which is what I don't want. There are some, so for an example, if I use the 6x6, I can see the top holes there. Can you see she covers the slot? So you could put a very thin amount of foam just above the slot to support her head, but it's going to be fine on this, so I wouldn't worry too much. They do work across all the sizes, but as I've said many times, you're going to get different looks and each puppet is a bit different. What I want to focus on now is lining up her arms with the top here. Now those are actually a bit too thick, so I'll save those for another card, and I'm actually going to just cut this in half. So yeah, if you've used the animal puppets, they're quite big and round, so I've had bigger bits of foam. Something like this, you know, obviously the thinner is going to be better because it fits behind her. So just kind of test your movement there of your arms. You want it to, I think that's about right. That looks good to me. I'm just going to push her down on there. And that is going to be more than enough to hold her in place. Super cute. And then what I've done, because I don't want to see the slot there, so I've got my sentiment here, which says, "The future's looking bright, you're tool-rific." And I'm going to sit it, so I've done the foam either side, so again it doesn't interfere with the mechanism, but it's just another way to disguise it, and everything still works. This is going to go on a top fold 5x7 card. You see you get a nice frame there, but before I stick it down, because I want to make sure I'm happy with the last few bits that I'm going to stick down, because even at this point you could still carefully lift her off the foam and you could undo all of the brads. Now I think I'm going to have, do I want to be waving a sword around? I mean, I can be a little bit clumsy with the tools, but I think definitely got to hold the hammer in this one, I think, and maybe I'll just have that one maybe resting on the floor. Yeah, I think I'm going to add a tiny little bit of glue so I can clip it just underneath the thumb. Again, a little bit of glue. Just do again a little test. I think that works perfectly. Absolutely love that. And then this one, I'm just going to pop maybe that side so you can see it. Just, I've got that little bit of foam spare. Yeah, I think that will work nicely. So then to stick it onto the card, you just want to cover the back with foam. Don't go near this part here, just a couple of bits of foam there. You can put foam over the brads as well. All it does is just stop them moving, but it won't interfere with the mechanism at all. You just don't want it to dip, so make sure you've got, you know, your foam kind of equally over there. You could use double-sided tape if you want. You don't have to use the foam. I just like the dimension, so if you're obviously posting this, it's already got a bit of dimension with the brads anyway, so you may not want to put so much on. And there is the finished card. A really fun, kinetic little mini-me. Simply change the head, the hairstyle, and you've got a completely different person or character. I think these are fun to add a real photograph of someone's head, just scale it down. That would look really fun. You could also use maybe a character. You know, if you've got a little child, maybe they're into a favourite character, you could download and print off their head. You could put maybe a celebrity's face on there. You could do lots of fun things with this. I think it is super fun and displays wonderfully. So I hope you like this way of using the puppets. Like I said, check out the playlist. I will have all the videos that I've done with this collection in one playlist, but I'll have a full puppets one which will have everything in there, because I've done fun folds and things like that as well, so there is lots of good stuff. So make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. All the products that I've used, as always, are linked in the description box below, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.